The 2026 AI Agent Framework War has officially begun. Everyone has been asking me, Mike, is OpenClaw still the undisputed king? Today we are looking at the ultimate heavyweight showdown. Agent Zero versus OpenClaw. These are two revolutionary open source frameworks, but they serve two completely entirely different purposes. One lives on your phone across your messaging apps, and the other, it runs entirely in an isolated Docker container, writing and executing its own code autonomously. So, which one actually wins? But listen closely, knowing which framework is better is completely useless if you don't have the systems to actually monetize it. That is exactly why I've placed my private school community, the AI Money Forge, right at the start of this video. We are rapidly approaching 100 members. Inside, you aren't just getting theoretical advice, you are getting my exact private blueprints. From OpenClaw and Agent Zero automation to our exclusive guide on how to prepare for Claude Opus 4.6 and Gemini 3.1 Pro. If you want to stop renting your intelligence from big tech and start building an autonomous empire, click the link in the description right now and claim one of the final VIP spots. Alright, let's dive into the raw code. Agent Zero just blew past 16,000 stars on GitHub, and for good reason. This is not just a chatbot wrapper, this is a personal, organic, agentic framework that essentially treats your computer as a tool. It has persistent memory, it can spawn infinite subordinate agents to handle complex tasks, and it is fully Dockerized. This means it can safely write, test, and debug Python code in a sandboxed environment without destroying your actual hard drive. Let's look at the head-to-head data. OpenClaw's core paradigm is conversation first. It is built to be your multi-platform assistant on WhatsApp and Discord. But Agent Zero, its paradigm is OS as a tool. It's a developer. Look at this architecture breakdown. OpenClaw relies on a gateway and an agentic loop. Agent Zero utilizes a hierarchical multi-agent structure. The human user gives a prompt to the Agent Zero brain, which then decomposes the prompt, delegates tasks to subordinate agents, and hands them dynamic tools to execute the search or memory retrieval. So, what's the verdict? If you want an AI assistant embedded in your daily life and smart home, you choose OpenClaw. But if you want an autonomous AI developer that writes its own tools and compiles complex data analysis, you choose Agent Zero every single time. Because of this structure, Agent Zero isn't restricted by a linear conversational loop. It thinks, spawns subroutines, and writes its own tools dynamically on the fly to solve whatever problem you just handed it. When we look at how they stack up in raw performance, the divide is crystal clear. Agent Zero dominates in autonomy and intelligence and scores a massive 98% in security and isolation because of that Docker sandbox. You can let it execute raw bash commands without stressing. OpenClaw, on the other hand, easily takes the crown for accessibility and its massive integration ecosystem. This completely changes their real-world applications. You shouldn't be using Agent Zero to set your daily calendar or turn on your smart lights. That is OpenClaw's territory. You boot up Agent Zero for heavy-duty financial analysis, writing and testing entire code bases, and automated DevOps server monitoring. Now, this is where things get truly insane. What you are looking at here is a highly customized private build I've been working on called the Coeus Institute Mod. We have completely overhauled the standard Agent Zero terminal experience. We've implemented an upgraded welcome screen with live system usage stats. We added a dedicated temp files manager with modified clean modals so you can track exactly what your agents are downloading and creating. We've also visualized the memory directory so you can actually see what your AI is remembering across sessions. But the real power is in the new settings panel. We built a configuration template function. This allows you to save your entire agent loadout and swap between setups instantly. And look at the default agent profiles we've injected. You don't just have a generic assistant anymore. You can spawn a specialized data analyst, a developer for complex architecture, a whisperer for cybersecurity and vulnerability assessments, or a researcher for deep data collection. You just map these profiles to your preferred models, whether that's Claude 4.5, GPT 6.2, or even a local model running on LM Studio, and hit save. But it goes much deeper than just picking a model. Look at the granular control you have here. You can set strict context window links, enable native vision support with a simple toggle, and hard-code your input and output token limits so you never accidentally blow up your API budget. We also implemented a dedicated utility model section. This is a massive cost saver. Instead of using an expensive GPT-6 model to summarize text or manage memory, you can route those background tasks to a smaller, cheaper model running locally on LM Studio, while reserving your heavy hitter for the complex logic. You can even designate a specific web browser model, like DeepSeek, solely for navigating the internet. Once your perfect architecture is dialed in, you just save it as a new configuration template. You can build out an entire roster of specialized AI teams and load them up with a single click. Now let's jump into the new chat UI and actually put this to work. I'll start with a basic prompt. Tell me about Agent Zero. Instead of just a blinking cursor, you get a clean, collapsible node tree showing exactly what the agent is thinking in the background. If I click into this node, you can see the raw processing power. It outlines the core building blocks, structures the data. Let's see the UI in action. The chat messages have been visually improved for readability. I start by asking it a simple, ambiguous question. Who is the current president? Watch its reasoning process. It doesn't blindly hallucinate an answer. It pauses, realizes it lacks context, and asks me, which country are you asking about? I reply, the US. And boom, it instantly hits its knowledge base to confirm Donald Trump. Notice the live system stats in the bottom right corner, tracking CPU, RAM, and disk usage in real time as the agent thinks. Let's push it harder. I ask it, what is today's top news story? Watch the node tree execute. It immediately calls the search_engine tool, queries the web, checks major outlets, and then spins up a live browser agent to read the actual top headline from the DOM. It extracts the data, synthesizes it, and reports back. And here is a massive safety feature we added, the hard stop button. If your agent goes rogue, gets stuck in an infinite loop, or starts executing dangerous code, you click this red button, and it instantly kills all subordinate agent processes. No more fighting the terminal. Look closely at these thought nodes right here. The agent initially attempts a standard data scrape, but realizes it's hitting a wall because the news site uses dynamic rendering. Instead of failing or hallucinating an answer like most models do, it actually pivots. It autonomously decides to spin up a live, headless browser. It literally delegates the task to a subordinate browser agent. It hands over the URL and gives it specific instructions on what to extract from the page. The sub-agent navigates the site, pulls the exact headline, and feeds it back up the chain of command to the main brain, which perfectly formats your update. This is true multi-agent orchestration happening entirely on its own. Now, if you ever need to debug a complex workflow like that, we built a brand new inspector modal. Click this and you get X-ray vision into the agent's brain. You can audit the raw JSON history, track the exact tool payloads being passed around, and even review the massive 11,000 token system context to see the underlying rules driving your AI. Finally, for the agency owners running these at scale, we built a brand new global metrics page. You can track your daily token usage, monitor your API cost estimates, and view beautiful pie charts breaking down exactly which providers and models are eating your budget. This specific framework, the Coeus Mod, is officially coming to Docker Hub on February 20th, 2026. Make sure you are inside the AI MoneyForge community so you get the deployment guide the second it drops. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.